Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Creative Contact. I'm your host, Orion. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. And I appreciate that more than you even know. Why? Because these life updates I've now been officially doing for almost 8 years. We're coming up on a decade, y'all. How crazy is that? I think I say that every time. It just blows my mind. But life keeps on trucking. We keep on trucking, doing the thing. Day in, day out, poquito, poco a poco. So here's the deal, y'all. I've got a call in about 35 minutes, so I'm going to keep this quick and dirty, to the point. It's been a hot minute since I've given you a life update. I'm recording off the phone with the audio because it's just one of those days, baby, running and gunning. And I've got a lot to tell you about. We got life updates. I'm in a new place. I'm in a new era of life. I'm going broke. I'm making a lot of money at the same time in my mind. Mentally, there's a potential to make a lot of money, but everything is everything. I've been going through a crazy highs, super highs, lows and lows. And bro, we got a lot to talk about. So take it from the top. Let's rewind a little bit so that I can catch you up on what's been going on. And that is, I moved from Mexico City to Buenos Aires maybe 3 weeks ago now. And it's just been a crazy whirlwind, so I haven't had a chance to hop on camera to talk about it. But here we are. So the overall adventure itself was pretty painless. I think I had to sleep in the airport. I forget. I bought some super cheap flight, which was terrible and ridiculous, but I made it here in one piece. What was fascinating about Buenos Aires is I, as always with nomad life, hopefully you read some before you go. What did I read? I heard through the grapevine that it was dangerous because they're going through some interesting political turmoil right now. 2, you can't use card, you've got to use cash. And they have 2 different types of cash, the sort of system where it's like, they have like the blue dollar, which is like the local currency, and they have like the gringo dollar. So it's like you're going to get ripped off all the time. You have to bring crisp $100 bills that have a big face. They like the ones with the big Benjamin Franklin face because I don't know why. And that like people are getting their phones snatched, like you got to be on your P's and Q's. Like it's a different world down here. Like it's great. Have had 0 problems. 1, a lot of places take card. 2, I'm not sure what changed, but like the cash thing has the only problem with the cash was trying to pay rent in their, I think it's pesos. I forget I don't even know what the currency is called. That's how attuned I am, y'all. I got my ear to the streets. I can't even remember the name of the currency. I think it's pesos, but Argentinian pesos, but it was the first time I ever felt like a rapper. Like, I've played stages, I've opened up for Mac Miller with my boy Dylan before. I've played local shows. We played at Webster Hall. The first time I felt like a rapper was holding $450,000. I felt like I need to go on Instagram and hold it up like the money phone. It was the first time I was like, I'm an Instagram rapper for the first time in my life. Now, where's my 360 record deal? So that was crazy, trying to get all that money at once. Because the inflation down here is insane, and they've got that kind of their own Trump dude who's kind of like the economy is tanking. A lot of the cash places are out of cash. Like you show up, and if you want a certain amount of money, they're just not going to be able to give it to you because they don't have enough. And that has been the only challenge. Other than that, the money has honestly been no issue at all. A lot of places, like I said, take card. Ubers take card. All the things you heard about were completely unfounded. Same with the grittiness thing. Like, yeah, shit gets real sometimes, but it doesn't every city. Like, you're in Latin America. Like, you could be in New York, LA, Oakland. Like, shit is real. Like, you find pockets that are safe, and you walk around, and you don't do stupid stuff, and you'll be fine. So, that's like, it blows my mind every time. I'm always like, ugh, like, I don't know about this new place I'm going. I'm always like, oh, this is way better than about everything I read online. You think I'd know by now 5 years in, but the boy still falls prey to the online propaganda. So, such is life. But other than that little money thing, I got rocking and rolling here really fast. So I got a little Airbnb for the first maybe like 2 or 3 nights. And then I was like, I'm going to go look around. Typical Kia shit. I'm going to go look around for different places, see if I find a neighborhood I like. And that It was one of the quickest times I've ever found a place. It was the second apartment I saw. The first one I saw was nice too. It's just a little bit out of my price range. Second apartment is the one I'm sitting in today. I saw it, I think my second day here, rented it my third day. It's the fastest, like, boom, hit the ground moving, got a nice place. And everything works. It's pretty crazy. It's not a huge place. It's a little studio. But it's nice. It's got AC. The bed is comfortable. I have a little place called Como en Casa. Like, it's a little next door. It's like one of those buffets where you like pay per kilo. You just like load up food, and it's not like Whole Foods where you get like half a chicken breast and it's $50. Here you can I have my own I bring the containers back, so I actually have it sitting right over there off screen. And I take my little plastic container and I fill up on salads, and they have all these meats and stuff. I'm trying to be vegetarian-ish, so I'm trying not to indulge too much, but sometimes I have to, especially when I first got here, because one fascinating thing about the food and about the people and the vibe and the look is it's got this European flair. Obviously, a lot of Latin America does have that. Like, you have a lot of, Spanish influence in architecture and French in Mexico and things of that nature. But here, it's really pronounced. One, in the people, two, in the food. We'll take it by food first. So the food is very Italian influenced. So they have a lot of pizza, a lot of pasta. It's very empanadas. There's some of my favorite empanadas. Actually, I'm gonna say my favorite empanadas. No offense, Colombia, other places, Peru, but I love them. I love me some Argentinian empanadas because they're baked. So I had to indulge, especially when I first got here, on approximate shit ton of empanadas. But got some good pasta, got kind of my Italian food, and I was like, okay, we'll get back to kind of my normal food schedule stuff. But it's interesting seeing that kind of Italian flair in the food. Obviously, they've got tango. That's a huge thing. But more than that is the influence, I think, that European influence in the architecture. It's a very predominant, and then also in the people. The people, like when I'm in Mexico, or say a place like Thailand, Vietnam, these places can be very homogenous, where of course people can look vastly different in these places, but people have there's a certain range that people tend to look like. In Mexico, you do have some fair-skinned Mexican folks, but they do, and Mexican dress, like guys tend, not all of course, but tend to have cool slicked hair. They might have a t-shirt or a nice polo shirt and jeans and shoes. There is something, I don't want to say fancy to the culture, but there is something that is it feels, maybe not conservative is the right word, but you don't see a lot of guys in shorts. I see zero guys in shorts, unless it's sporting. In Mexico, I always see guys in pants. And so I stick out like a gringo. I stick out like a sore thumb. In Mexico, it's oh, that's a gringo dude. I can sometimes pass, but a lot of times people actually think I'm Argentinian. But they know I'm a foreigner just from my look. And in places like Thailand, too. Any place where there's there's the people and then there's Kia. The one place before that I've been that I felt like I kind of blended in was in Brazil. That'd be a place where people will come up and ask me for directions. Because Brazil, it's such a fascinating mix that you have big curly hair, people with red hair and freckles, paler than me, and it's everybody. So it's a beautiful way that you can blend in more. And I feel that same way here too, which has been really cool because it's not like I'm obviously a foreigner. If I start speaking, they can tell because I don't say, they have certain sounds, instead of being so you might say eyes yo in Spanish, they'd say show. Or the jumbo, it's like a grocery store, they call it the shumbo. Instead of a calle for a street, it's the calle. It's like a calle. It's there's this sh kind of sound. And they don't use tú. They don't say tú eres. They'll be vos. Con vos. It's also this, they sometimes they'll swallow certain letters. They'll be oh, me gusta. Me gusta mucho. It's this, rather than be me gusta mucho, I sound like a gringo saying that, but the words and the letters and the language, it's Spanish, but it's got a very distinct flair to it, that if I start speaking, they know right away, nah, this dude is a foreigner. But if I don't speak, if I just kind of do my cool kind of look, and I some nod, head nods up and shit, they, for the most part, I just kind of blend, which is really cool. And that's what I was getting at, is that European influence is people look, you can feel that Italian, European vibe. I say that so much. I'm trying not to say that so much, but it's the truth. They got a vibe. And it's so like the women have like they'll be like skinny with long blonde hair, or like straight black hair, but they'll be as fair, like fair skinned as me, or even whiter than me. And so it's been really interesting, again, being able to sort of blend ish. And I realized I miss that, because I try not to. I mean, because of my dress, I stick out because I wear these weird fucking Vibram shoes. These things that are like total gringo alert, but I'm at that point in my life where it's zero fucks all. I'm wearing the shoes with the toes. I'm wearing shoes with pockets for toes, bro. Like, I've kind of just given up. That's the sure sign a man's given up on life, is when his foot health is more important than his social his social upward capabilities. And so it's just been this cool kind of mix of people where they just look very different. And I know this isn't a whole podcast just like stereotyping Argentinian people, but it has been cool to see those vibes. And they're also like they're like kind of a lot of times not the older folks, but the young folks, it's like very grungy, like a lot of like half shaved heads, lots of piercings, lots of tattoos. It's very like hipster feeling that I didn't expect. Like this cool kind of like artsy, grungy, scruffy kind of a feel. And then you also have like the skinny, like modelly kind of looking fair-featured blonde women. So it's been rad. I haven't gotten to know a ton of local folks. I got like a lot of the folks that I have kicked it with are like the little like the lady at my vegetable shop, but like she's from Bolivia. Like it's a little Bolivian family that run that. So that's been challenging. I think just romantically, I thought I was gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna come down here. It's a whole like Argentinian women do not fuck with me. I've gotten so few matches on dating websites. I'm really just on Bumble. That's kind of my go-to one, Bumble. I like hopped back on Tinder just because I was like, I've got zero prospects, so let me try Tinder. But what's funny is the one match I got on Bumble, the one was a Venezuelan. She was a thick Venezuelan, and I love me some thick Venezuelans. I just love Venezuelans. I also love thick people too. And so it's this perfect match. I got overexcited. I got overeager. She had her Instagram handle in her bio. And so I like shot her some messages on Bumble. She didn't respond, so I slid in her DM on Instagram with a voice message, and then she unbumbled me or whatever it's called, like unmatched me. She unmatched me. She's like, "Yo, this guy is too excited. We need to get him out of here." But I see a thick Venezuelan, and I'm sold. So I'm gonna just wait. Hopefully there are some other either Colombians, Brazilians, Venezuelans happen to be in the mix around here, so I might be able to find me a date at some point, because the Argentinian women, it has been a challenge. This will be an interesting segue into the business stuff that I want to talk to you about. But because I've been having all these ideas for new businesses and a lot of ideas with freelancing and wanting to pitch, I decided I'm trying to get more comfortable being uncomfortable. That's a very like simple buzzword, but a practice for that for me is like I'm trying to start up a conversation with a stranger every day. Preferably with a cute woman, but a stranger, anybody, just one random conversation where I can just create something out of nothing and try to establish rapport quickly. So there have been like a couple of times like girls in the park, like there'll be like a group of girls and I'll like go up and say hi and try to chat and maybe try to get like an Instagram or something. But obviously people are like very kind of like what's this guy doing? But it's been a good practice. Have had some great interactions and some that obviously people think it's sketchy, and I totally understand. But it's a good kind of habit, just a good muscle to build of just like, how do I just shoot shots, And that brings me to the business stuff. So I've been floundering, y'all. I'm going to be honest. Ever since the music stuff, 2 years, 1.5 years ago, ditched that big old hole in my soul, trying to figure out like, what am I doing? What am I here for? What's the point? And that's where the book writing came in, where I loved writing that book, the first book that I ever wrote, short stories. And that was really rad. I enjoyed that entire process. I fell in love with writing. But I'm trying to think about how can I how can I monetize that into something? I'm like, how can I make money off that like tomorrow? And so I've realized I've been having a lot of heart-to-hearts with myself, long walks in the park, and the phrase that I'm coming back to is, you can do it all, you just can't do it all right now. And so that's what I'm embodying, is I'm saying, Kia, the art will be there. How do we find I'm giving myself 3 months. I have enough cash to float me the next 3 months, and then I'm moving home for the summer to see my folks. It's for my birthday. And so I'm like, Kia, I've got 3 months to figure something out. What's it going to be? So I've been thinking a lot about like ikigai shit. Like, what's my superpower? What does the world need? What do I like to do? And just trying a lot of stuff in terms of ideas. And so thinking about writing, I've been thinking like, okay, so what are some gigs that I could get? How can I use this sort of, I know I like writing. What are some like writing ways that I can use this and something I'd actually have the skills to do? And so at first I was thinking about maybe trying to be a book coach, help people with their books. But I still would love to do that maybe some point. But to be honest, this is some imposter syndrome shit. I just don't feel, I feel like I'd be good at coaching people, like in terms of helping them stay productive and, you know, on track with their writing, but I just don't know enough about writing itself to give like a workshop on like how to write great fiction or something, which I would love to do in the future. So we're putting that on hold. Instead, I'm like, what do I know how to do? I know a lot about online courses, and I know a lot about all these sort of like other things that go into that, whether it's content strategy or email marketing, you know, or client acquisition and you know, like all these different pieces that I'm like, oh, these are all different skills. Which ones can I leverage in a certain way? Copywriting, sales copy, building landing pages, etc. So at first I was like, let me ghostwrite LinkedIn posts for for self-published authors, because I'm bullish on self-publishing. And I've been pitching my little heart out. Got 0 bites. I have one possible connection to a podcaster, which might come through. We'll see. But the hard part is I just don't have a ton of traction on LinkedIn. So that's kind of one of my big focuses for this year, is to build out my audience on LinkedIn. Got a little content strategy. I've been writing on there every day for the last 2 months. I've been posting on there every day for about the last 6 months, videos and stuff, but it wasn't very focused. So I'm niching down on online business, especially around online courses, like how to create simple email funnels and just everything that goes into creating a course, strategy, all the things, marketing a course. And so I'm like, okay, so maybe this is what I can do, is I can be an online course coach. I think this would be fun. I think one of my superpowers is taking big ideas and then chunking them down into easy to digest frameworks. I'm like, that's something I can do. If you're like, hey, I'm a coach, I have this program, I want to scale it out in a course, I'm like, let's go. I'd love to help you with that. Or if someone says, hey, I have this online course, I need help with that like content strategy, or I have this online course, how do I maybe convert email subscribers into customers, right? Building this little funnel. And so I've been pitching my little heart out with the LinkedIn content, no bites. But, so that's why it's been like kind of up and down. It's been like, I have these days where I'm like, Kia, I have these skills, I've got a lot I can offer, and then the world, it's kind of hard when you start pitching and the world doesn't, it makes me feel like I've got a lot to offer the world, but the world doesn't want it. And that, it's an internal narrative that I have to like continually battle and be like, Kia, like, that whole self-worth thing, especially because this self-doubt and like 32 is going to be a rock star. Now I'm like running out of money, and it's like, I have these skills. So it's like all this sort of these crazy internal dialogues I'm running. Trying to stay creative, not in terms of like me doing my own writing, but creative, like how do I build myself out of this? And so it's been probably one of the lowest points that I've had in a long time, because I don't have a big project I'm working on right now. And I don't have any I'm a creature, I like to kind of stay in motion. And so not having anything like that, it makes me, I start getting like kind of restless and itchy. I want to like be working on something. But I feel guilty working on creative projects when I know that I need to be finding paid work. So it's been this interesting sort of adventure lately with that. But there's hope. So this last week, I've been pitching my heart out, LinkedIn stuff, no bites. I'm like, well, what else can I do? What I really want to do is, how can I make people money? I'm like, I know if I can make people money, I'll get paid for it. If I can create, whatever it is, create a little black box where you put $1 in and get $5 out, we're Gucci. I'm like, but that's what it is from, is that copywriting? Is that building people's courses? I'm like, what is that thing? So a new idea that I've been learning a lot about ghostwriting, thinking about skills too, is I'm like, what if I package these as like a copywriting and landing page and funnel building? So it'd be like, the offer is, the thing that I'm going to start pitching people is like a 5-day email course, and I build the whole thing out for them. Where it's like, if you, like, I'll build out this simple landing page and a simple domain, because to me, I've always found that converts better, like, rather than having it be like your website and then like some free offers, which does work. It's like, what if I just point you to this? What I just did recently, I'm building my own, is it's makemyfirstcourse.com. It's like, boom, you go there. There's not a bunch of like about me and books and things you can click. It's like, you go to the site, it's one opt-in, it's simple squeeze page, no other distractions, things that like you in or you're out. And then that converts into like a little educational 5-day funnel. And in that funnel, obviously, I'm going to figure out I'm just trying to figure out what niche to do. Like, what I heard this really great interview recently, and it was like, what do you like to talk about? What do you know? And then niche down so hard it hurts. So I've been trying to keep that in mind. I'm like, niche down so hard it hurts. Who can I build these funnels for? And I've been thinking about maybe doing brick and mortar, because I know the online space so well, but I feel like often I'm like, who could use these? And I think a lot of times it'd be like maybe people that have like a dentist's office where the folks are too busy, and she's like too busy cleaning and helping people with their teeth, but she could still use this thing, and they also have money and are like, yes, save me time, get me customers, build it. So that's what I've been kind of toying with. That's what I was building out today, is I'm like gonna just build some dummy websites and then start pitching that and see if I can get some traction. Like I said, ups and downs, peaks and troughs, baby. It's been interesting dealing with that, but I'm excited. I think if I could pull this off, it's like I only need a couple clients a month and we're back in business. And then I've kind of got 2 like North Stars I'm shooting for. The North Star is to keep writing books, be an author, eventually teach writing classes. That's like North Star. So in my meantime, if I can get some freelancing going, if no freelancing comes out, I'm like, shit, I'm just getting a part-time job, something to pay the bills, and then I'm gonna like do my own creative work, build my audience in the morning, and hopefully eventually leverage and flip that. But first, I'm gonna see if I can do some freelancing shit. But that's kind of my main North Star. It's the writing, authorship, teaching, write, speak, and teach. That's what I love to do. North Star. Not there yet. One step back from that is this kind of like online coach course building thing that I'm hoping to build out on LinkedIn and like start doing some freelancing maybe in that. I think that also ties in with this freelancing with like the funnel building, and I think maybe I could combine them. Like, it's like online course coach, I help you build the course, and then I help you build the funnel. So I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You can get with this, and so it's like I'm trying to like find some sort of freelancing thing that I can do, like make money like tomorrow if somebody says yes, and then build that into the online course coaching thing. And that'll be a rad gig. I think it would be very lucrative. I think I'd be great at it. It's something I know a ton about. It's something I'm passionate about. Does it make my heart sing like the books? No. But I have a lot of experience. I feel very confident about it. And so it's the one to me that feels like a good kind of blend between ikigai shit and then also in the back of my mind helps me kind of like build out something that I have good enough income that I can still have my mornings to write my content, work on my books, and eventually, get some momentum and build this bad boy up. But I know I'm tired of being broke. And so those were some hard conversations where I was like, I could just get a simple part-time job for now and just keep writing and do that. But I realized if I'm not, the book business isn't necessarily a lucrative business, so I'm not trying to bank on that. And yeah, man, I know if I want to get my ass to Europe, I want to start getting this adult thing cracking. It's time to start making some real money in order to do that, you know, as they say, the more value your business adds to the world, the more you get compensated for it. So I'm like, how can I start making people money? That's what I'm thinking of things. How do I save people time, make people money with the skills I have? That's where we're at, people. Listen, I gotta bounce. Thank you so much for tuning in. Future Kia, you got this. One step at a time, Playboy. Come back. These moments are always the ones that, right? Pressure makes diamonds, right? There's always these kind of low points when you get creative, you get strategic, you think outside the box, you get so uncomfortable that it creates some sort of dynamic change that creates action and movement. And that's where we are. We're creating action. We're creating movement. If you want some help building a course, let me know. Would love to help you. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always, and I'll check you on the next one. Peace.